I've alluded a little bit that I'm launching out with this new brand called Real Raw You. And it's been a part of this journey in me going on an elimination diet and exploring only, grass-fed, organic meats, organic fruits and vegetables, really even trying to come from the purest source of the farmer's market and exploring foods from that space. And I have to say, I had kind of poo-pooed diet, actual doing anything like that. And then, in this reality, I wanted to reduce the size of my body and just change it a little bit. And that was the reason why I chose it initially. But the results of what happened were absolutely beyond what I ever thought would ever happen. And when I eliminated, things came up, and I found that I had these coping mechanisms where I was looking for consumption to soothe me, to calm my nervous system, and sometimes even taking, stimulation of drinking to, disconnect from being present. And I spent 6 weeks really just being with myself and only choosing those foods and seeing where I'd go that I'd be like, oh, I need to cope, or I need to comfort, or there's an edginess here that I'm avoiding. And in doing so, a lot came up. And I started to look at the primal instincts of the brain. And most of you may already know this. There's really 4 areas of the brain, or there's 3 parts of the brain. There's the neocortex, our cognitive brain. Then there's the limbic, L-I-M-B-I-C, part of the brain, which is what I'm really talking about, which is really has these 4 things: fornication, feeding, and fight and flight, which is what we're going to talk about, which is what this work does for us. It gets us back down to those primal instincts. And then there's the part of the brain that regulates your heart and your blood flow and those things that keep us alive that we forget sometimes are even going on. So I want to start today by just really being with our 4 areas of the brain, this fight or flight, and the feeding and fornication. And today, throughout class, we're going to explore those 4 areas. And we're going to start today with this idea of fight and flight, resistance and reaction, or alignment and agreement. Whenever you do those things, you are being controlled. Like you have implanted some sort of control mechanism within you that allows you to continue to control yourself. And one of the explorations that we went through was in the car this morning on the way here. Sailor and I are carpooling. Are you good? You're good with me sharing? Okay. And she was sharing with me that she has this defense mechanism, so to speak, where if she's with a man that seems really powerful, then she will kind of shrink and become passive, was her word. And I said, truth, well, are you really being passive? And that's kind of where it started. Is it passive or is it something else? Like started to look at that energy. But then I got to this next piece of, oh, okay, that's where she's implanted through resistance and reaction or alignment and agreement And she's chosen to put in this program basically in her hard drive that, okay, I don't want to get killed by a powerful man by being my powerful, potent woman. So I'm just going to allow them to do what they're going to do, and I'm going to be passive and just let this go on without true choice. Does that make sense? So she wasn't coming from a place where it's a specific one incident where someone has a point of view, is on top of her fighting for that point of view, and she just decides in that one moment, I'm just going to let them do their thing and be an interesting point of view, right? She hasn't chosen that. She just becomes passive. And her passive is kind of spacing out, going away, where she could just be there, watch them, and be an interesting point of view, which on the outside to someone else may look the same, but that allows her to be in her potent warrior goddess woman and strength, like, because it comes from true choice. Okay, so that's how this works with, so she's in reaction right now, and we want to shift that into a more of a cognitive action. And that's why this work in going in to that primal area of the brain and unlocking those programs of fight and flight that are ongoing and they are locked in, this work goes in, takes those out, so when she's around a powerful man, she has this awareness where she sees it and goes, okay, got it. Here's that situation where I usually go away, but this time I can be here and I can make a choice.